Ink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road. It's 800 548 3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865 774 3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty, putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your window sills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800 548 3554, or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that, brother?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knox Rail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Popper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxRailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Hey, y'all, this is Kix Brooks, and you are listening to Rick's House, everything you need to know about home improvement. Here comes Rick.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen. Join me every Saturday morning from 7:30 to 9:30 where you'll hear Rick's House, where you'll learn about great companies like Knox Rail Salvage, Top Septic Service, and All Clear Plumbing. We'll answer your questions, we'll give you home improvement advice, and talk about your RV and your travel trailer. That's Rick's House, Saturday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30. We hope to see you there.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's
Oh, good Saturday morning to you. I don't know what happened to the interweb gods or whatever. But we like that music. You might get a brother down, but he ain't going to stay down. I'll be right back up swinging, pushing buttons, and turning knobs. The high-tech redneck is in and on duty. And ready to talk home improvement and RV living this morning. Evan, if you're listening, I'm going to put that number out there. Now, remember, when you call me, you're going live on the air. That's just how we roll. So be nice. Not that Evan wouldn't be nice, but I'm telling you, if you call me, 423-717-0157, 423-717-0157, Chevy, I'm going to pull your tongue out. I don't know what happened. Who knows what happens when the interweb does what the interweb does. I'll have my other phone back today, and I'm excited about that. So that'll help us. So we're running on a wounded ship here this morning. Have no idea where I was and what I was talking about. However, I was telling y'all about the refrigerator, for one, not wanting to latch this morning. Have no idea what that means. Now, I do know that sometimes when it's not getting power, it'll do that. But when Amy opened it, I noticed the light was on, so it's getting power. So as long as it's getting power and working and the door's shut, it ain't something that a bungee cord or some duct tape can't fix until I can figure out what's wrong with it. The other thing they do about it on your refrigerators, and whoever done this ought to be smacked in the mouth. God, did I say it out loud? You can say that on the interweb. I like it. They put a little old tiny half a amp fuse in the back of the refrigerator, which requires you to unload the refrigerator, remove all the screws, and pull the thing out because you can't access it from the back because there ain't a panel there to replace this fuse. So after doing that twice, I called my buddy who's an electrician. He said, well, that's simple. He said, put you some wire and move it to the front so that you can take those two screws off on the bottom of the refrigerator and replace the fuse there, which we did. Wonderful. The other problem with that is every time you pull that refrigerator out of that cabinet, you have the potential of pinching the hose that drains it. And so it ices up like Mama's ice box. And there you are. And that's a mess. Now we are probably going to take it out this weekend and unload it and vacuum behind there, because just like every other refrigerator in the world, if you got to keep the coils clean back there and vacuum underneath it and do those kinds of things, we have the same kind of maintenance in a travel trailer that you have in your house. And those are things that you ought to do, because when dirt and dust and debris and so forth gets on there, then it causes you a problem. And then when you get a problem, then you have to replace an $1,800 refrigerator, which I don't want to do. Our animals are wild this morning. They're going to find themselves homeless. No, they won't find it. Let me tell y'all what happened yesterday. This is so funny. So on our travel trailer, part of a travel trailer door, and this is something else that, being a builder and being a remodeling contractor and all the things that I've done all these years and that I've learned. And you say, well, Rick, how do you know that stuff? Well, you know what? I'm learning something. I'll learn something today. And if you're not learning something every day, there's something wrong, because you ought to be learning something every day. That ought to be happening. Now, what I have learned is that, and the other way that you learn is by making a mistake. If you make a mistake, you learn that way. I mean, that's part of it. My grandpa always said, there ain't nothing wrong with making a mistake, son, if you fix it. If you keep making the same old mistake over and over again, then you're a dummy. Don't do that. And so that's been our motto. That's what we try to do. But part of I didn't realize this, but you got an outswing door for your RV. And then on the outside of that, on the inside of that, you've got a screen. Well, the screen has weather stripping on it too, because the RV doors don't seal real good. Now, that's just plain laziness to me. I don't know. I mean, there's no reason for that not to happen. They ought to seal those doors up good, and they ought to be sealed, and they ought to work right. But that's just part of it. They do these things quick. Ours was built right before the COVID rush. And they're slapping them things out just as fast as they can.
And that makes for pretty good stuff, but not up to snuff. You know what I mean? The longer I live in it, the more I look at it, the more I see things I want to fix, which I do as I can, because I can't do what I used to do. But that being said, our hinge, two things that happened. The dogs and cats figured out that they could push that screen out, which dogs and cats will do. So a lot of people will take their storm door, their screen door, and in the bottom panel of it, they'll either put a guard over it, which don't really work with cats because they can go through the guard, or they'll replace that bottom piece of screen with a piece of plexiglass so they can look out, but they can't get out. And then let the screen be up on the top. And that's probably what we're going to do. But they ended up breaking our bracket that mounts to the door and holds the screen door up. Well, I've ordered the new one, got a new one in, but I had to take the door down because it's broken. And I thought, well, while it's down, I'll go ahead and replace the bottom and the top and fix it so that it's nice. And Amy had saw on Pinterest or one of the sites that we follow on RVs where they had taken that storm door and decorated it with some wood pieces and made it look like an old-timey storm door like you'd have on a porch back home in East Tennessee or down here in Texas or wherever you are, where it's really, really nice looking. So I told her, I said, well, I'll do that for you. That's something I can do. I can set it out here on the picnic table. Is the best bench I ever had. I don't got to get no sawhorses out. I just use the picnic table. I set myself down in my new horse. And when I'm talking about my horse, I'm talking about my rollator. Hey, just because I'm disabled don't mean I can't get around something. Now, I ain't going to win no races with that horse unless I'm moving backwards and I can't see. So you better look out, because if you're that woman in the middle of the aisle, you might get smacked. Or a man, either one. I'm just kidding. So anyway, so I can do that. Will you pull that up and make sure I'm still on? Because it's I don't know what's going on with Facebook or the book face today, but it's giving me a fit. So I want to make sure that she's monitoring that for me. So anyway, so I had moved the storm door beside. We have our recliners in our travel trailer, and then we have a tall window there. It's a 6-foot window, and so beside that window screen, I had taken it out because I had an air conditioner in there at one time. So I'm good. So I had an air conditioner in there at one time, and so the screen was in the way. Well, the way screens are built into RVs is they're built not to come out. If you take them out, you'll play hell trying to put it back in. I mean, it's just it's doing the same thing. On, we have full bars. We are broadcasting. I don't know why. It's given us this problem with our signal. It has to do something with our internet feed. I don't see anything that's causing us a problem. This is on regular TV, isn't it, Amy? You didn't turn on the internet here, right? Okay. So there's no reason for us not to be, and it's still, there's no broadcast. Okay. Okay. Well, tell me if it goes back off. Y'all, I don't know what's going on with the streaming platform. There's no reason for us to be coming off and going on other than something to do with the platform. And I apologize for that. And if it keeps it up, we'll stop and we'll come back on this afternoon when it's in, because we have perfect signal. I don't know what's going on. It's just one of those things, but you know what? We'll deal with it and make it happen. Am I still on and still rocking and rolling? Okay. So back to my story. I have no idea what the story had. So the storm door, or screen door, I should say, I'd put it back up against the window, and little boho is learning that he wants to venture outside like his sister, who's a street cat. Well, he ain't never been outside, don't know nothing about being outside, and doesn't have any street smarts whatsoever. And bless him, he's learning, but he don't know. So he's figured out that screen is loose, and so he was trying to sneak around, and get outside. Well, he saw the screen there, and he saw something, and when he did, he pushed his paw out through the screen, and when he did, he fell. went straight through the screen, dropped about 3 feet. Man, that's probably 3.5 feet to the ground, and it pulled the storm door over top of him. And that plastic thing that moves on the storm door for it to slide in front of the handle, it popped out. And he's digging on the ground, and I'm hollering at Amy. She's outside. It absolutely positively scared him to death, but it just tickled me to death. So I'm going to have to fix that because, bless him, he's there's nothing like watching a new cat or kitten, find their way. Yeah, he's 4 months old, so him's a little feller. But he eats like a hog. I'm going to tell you that. So that's a project that I got going on. But the point of all that is you're going to have maintenance and you're going to have things that happen during the process, just like when you live in the house. I mean, that's just part of it. The more this thing moves, and the more things that have to be done, and the things we have to watch, and so forth and so on. It's just part of it. And as I do this from the studio, we'd have the same thing that we have occasionally when I'm on the radio. You who knows what's causing the platform to do whatever. But I promise you this, if it keeps it up, we'll do 3 shows today, or 5 or 10, or however many we have to do to get you the information that you need to make sure that we're taking care of our sponsors and we're taking care of the people that bring you this program each and every Saturday morning. So thanks for y'all for sticking with me. I appreciate it. So let me know if you're there and you hear me, because like I said, I'm a phone down, which I'll get today. And if you've got questions, I can see them on Facebook, or Amy can see them on the book face, and we'll continue moving in that direction. Evan, if you are listening and you're out there and want to give a call this morning, I didn't have time to text you, and I apologize for that. That number is 423-717-0157. 423-717-0157. If you want to call in this morning, if you got a question, we'd love to hear from you, and we'll put you directly online with us, and just know that you're live and on the air, so we'll make that happen. I don't know why that's making that noise, but it did. So that being said, we'd love to have you. Also, as I look at RVs, and there's so many models out there, and it's like anything else, there's a few companies that make them all. And so what we did, Sandy, Brian's wife, was saying she was impressed with the size of our RV and how we live it and everything. Well, we bought the RV that suited us as close as we could get. And then once we lived in it for a while, we found out right fast what we wanted to change and what was not useful for us and what didn't work and what we wanted to add. And, and we've changed out the floors, and we've had to rebuild slides, and we've had to do all those things that you do, because it's just like your house. We've added a cabinet in the kitchen. It works great. Amy saw it on, where did we get that, Mom? We get it on Amazon. She saw it on Amazon, and because our pantry, we have a walk-in pantry. So, well, it's let's call it a step-in pantry. It's not a walk-in pantry, but it's big, but it's full. And so she's been able to pull a lot of stuff out of that into this other cabinet that's in the kitchen. And I'm sitting here looking at the spices and at the peanut butter and the honey and the things for the, that you add to water for the drinks and stuff. And it's made a huge difference in what we're doing and how we live. It's just made it easier and better. Hence the reason we're going to, I've got a rack on my truck, and we utilized that ladder rack to get here, and it's been very, very helpful. Now I think I'm going to sell the ladder rack, and I'm going to build a camper shell for the back of my truck, but it's got to be one we can stand up in, one that when we want to go to the next place, there's some lakes close by. There's the Big Bend National Park that has a river run through it. There's museums, there's ball game. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff. And quite frankly, the other thing about it is when you live in a place like this, like we live, we have the hospitals 2 blocks from us, but if there's certain tests we need, we either got to go to Odessa or Midland or El Paso, and that's a couple-hour trip. Well, you can ride the train. Well, hotels don't work for me. They don't. I can't rest. They don't work for Mama. because Ma goes in, she goes, who's been in here and what kind of crud do they got on them and this and that? Where's give me my foamy bubble and some Lysol and some scrubbing. So she spent 2 hours cleaning, you know, and it just don't work for us. So we've got to have a way to travel. And honestly, about 2 hours, 2.5 hours for us traveling is about max. You know, so to make that, you know, like we used to, where we'd load the kids up and take off and be gone for, you know, drive all through the night and then get up there and lay on the beach all day and take them to the park and do all that stuff. Them days is over. A, I can't drive that far, and B, she can't neither. And three, and C, we don't want to. So if we're going to make a doctor's appointment and we're going to have to drive to El Paso or over to Midland or Odessa or wherever it is we have to go for whatever specialty it is, we're going to have to stay the night. And we're either going, if it's early morning appointment, we're going to have to stay the night before and then go to the doctor and then maybe come home or maybe stay another night. Well, that gets expensive unless you're in a pickup truck camper and you're at a Walmart somewhere going, what do you think we ought to eat for supper? And Amy has to be on a specific diet. Then that's true, you know. So if we have, you know, if we have a place where we can shelter in a Walmart parking lot. And by the way, I found out this week, and I didn't realize this. This is something new. You know, we're always looking for a Bass Pro Shop. They're kind of hateful sometimes. They don't want to do that. But Cabela's is awesome. And I know some of those are combined, but Cabela's is fantastic. They're good. Walmart's fun. Now, they say you ain't supposed to set up like you're camping, and we don't do that. But we have been known to put a chair in the parking lot and just watch. Because I mean, you know, people watching at Walmart's a sport. It ought to be in the Olympics. What was it? Oh, yeah. There's a couple got their charcoal grill out. They's grilling, baby. Hey, what y'all grilling? We got some taters. But that being said, if we're going to have to do that on occasion, we want to be able to be comfortable and do it in such a way that we can, because we've reached that age. You know, I'll be 58 my birthday, but I'm also disabled, which has been tough for me because I can't do what I used to do, and that sucks. But it's just how it is. Now, does it mean I can't do stuff? No, I can, but I have to do it slower and I have to do it different, and we have to travel different and we have to do things different. And, you know, we found out that if we have a big day, like going to the doctor in the store and maybe out to eat, the next day's a rest day because we can't do that. And I'm sure many of y'all are doing the same thing. Am I still good on there? Okay. So that being said, yeah, and as Amy said, the loss of children, you know, having lost 2 of our children really affects you, and it contributes to it. And, you know, we met a really, really nice lady this past week, and she's lost a child. And, you know, there's so many folks out there that have lost children, and it's you don't realize, and you never know. Do what? She can only work 3 days a week because of the PTSD, which I have PTSD, and so does Amy. So, I mean, it's real, and you know, and our soldiers who battle that, man, my heart goes out to you, because I know what it's like to battle it from the loss of a child. I can't imagine what it's like to battle it, you know, from serving your country. So there's a lot of things that come into that, but the good news is it's not. There's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way within the limitations of what you can do. So what I'm trying to say is that the show is going to continue. We're going to continue to talk about how you can enjoy this lifestyle no matter what your situation is. I mean, there's situations where you can't. I get that. I mean, I'm not saying anybody can do it. But just like today, after I get done doing the show, I love it so much, and I'm so thankful that y'all listen to us. And this afternoon, then I'll be down for the camp. I'm off again. So once again, I don't know what's going on with the internet feed and why it's that way. That's got to be. Okay. So, we'll deal with that, but it's not anything we're doing. Our setup's the same. We haven't changed anything. So who knows? Could be having electrical storm. Wind could be, being said, we'll do that. Who knows? I might do another show tomorrow. I might be feeling froggy and do one on TalkShoe or something. So still waiting on that information but they don't get in a hurry about it. What they want you to do is they want you, like with Spotify and these other things, I have to have what's called an RTMP feed. And I've requested that, and I'm waiting on it so that I can add those things. Now I can add it to there, but it's not live, but I want to do it live. And so what they do is they want you to use their platform. So they're not in no hurry about giving you that RTMP feed so you can use the platform you're already using. Well, I want to try to keep using this platform unless it keeps screwing up. And if it does, then I'll have to change platforms because I have everything set up. I don't want to have to start all that over again. So I don't know what that's all about. Am I still on? Okay. So that being said, it's, I don't know. It's Bob. He's sending me a message there. If you can do that. So anyway, thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with it. Don't know why it's doing that, but you know what? We'll just motor through it and do what we can do. I mean, that's just part of it. That's the way it is. And it's going to happen occasionally. So projects for today, figuring out why the refrigerator door won't happen. We've got a lot of wind here, and that could very well be affecting what we got. We've got some high winds that could be affecting us on the road because that affects that is really high wind. I didn't realize it was that much of that. I can't see the comments on Facebook, Amy. So if you can read the comments on Facebook, that would be helpful. And like I said, we'll keep motoring through it till we get it fixed. And who knows, we may do another show tomorrow just for kicks and giggles. But all that being said, so if I say all that being said again, y'all say shut up and move on. Found a yellow book today, Yellow Pages. I hadn't seen one of those, or actually this past week I found it. I hadn't seen one of those in a long, long time. And also, been really doing a lot of research on YouTube, and there's some really good stuff out there. Now, there's some stuff out there that ain't worth a darn, but there is some really good stuff on YouTube, and some of the channels, and I'll have to share that with you. Right now, if you're thinking about this lifestyle and you're thinking about doing, being a camp host and doing that, right now is the time to be looking. There are jobs everywhere. Last week, I read you a bunch of them. I'm getting that every week. And they're different responsibilities and different kinds of things. Some folks need somebody part-time a couple days a week. You can trade that out for staying there. Some people, need more than that. It just depends. It just depends on what's out there. But right now is the time, and it'll take you through the season. Now, some campgrounds are year round. Those are harder to find. And if you find one of those jobs and you like it, you better stick to it because they're a little bit more difficult to find, and then it'll go. But people like to move around and do different things, and that's why those jobs are available. So if you're looking, Indeed's a great place to look. We talked about that last week. That's fantastic. You can find the stuff there. Also, any job site, and then there's work camping. And then I was looking. The further west we go, the more you're going to get BLM land. And BLM land is the Bureau of Land Management, where there's free camping. Now, Texas doesn't have much of that, but what they do have is they have free parks, which I'd never seen before that have, and these parks, there's like 16 cities that popped up, and a lot of places have this, where they actually have water and electric, and some of them have water, electric, and sewer, and you can stay there for up to 3 days, but they have limited spaces. there's a lot of them around Lubbock, Texas, where a lot where Waylon Jennings is from. Littlefield, Texas is actually where he was born. But there's parks there, and I've noticed a lot of those in and around Dallas Fort Worth. If you get outside of the metro and head west, kind of toward New Mexico, you'll find those places there. And there are 5, 6, 7 campground, not campgrounds, but places where you can actually park and stay on your beach with your travel trailer, camper, whatever, in Texas on the ocean. Now, once we get our little camper going, we'll be making us an ocean trip. Hey, Tammy, how you doing, honey? Good to see you. We're having some wild stuff going on the interweb feed today. Don't know what's going on with that, but could be all this wind we're having. Who knows? So we'll get that done. But yeah, they've got some places where you can actually stay right on the beach for free. Now, obviously, that's something that you want to be careful about to make sure that you're not getting in a place that you can't get back out of. That's always a concern. Here you go, honey. Just let me know if I get whatever. So, like I said, just be careful. See what other folks are doing. Pay attention. Good Sam's has been really good for us. And I know they get a lot of slack about, owning that and Camping World. And, Camping World's been really good for us for products and supplies and things like that. I hear nightmares about their service department. We are in a major windstorm here today. I don't know what's going on with that. And that could be the reasons for part of our internet feed going crazy. So, but that being said, but as far as finding good deals on things that you need, they're very competitive about that. And the Good Sam's, when we first started traveling, we used AAA, and AAA does a good job, but Good Sam's is running circles around them. If you're in the RV world, we keep Good Sam's travel coverage, and man, I'm telling you what, they have saved us. I don't know how many tires they've changed. I don't know how many times they've given me a jump. I don't know how many times they are fantastic, and they'll get to you. The other thing that I'm investigating is I keep getting this thing about warranty, Good Sam's warranty for, RV repairs. Amy and I looked at a Class C, and even this past week we talked about maybe a Class C. But for us, it just doesn't make sense. We can take our truck that we've invested in that is like a new one. I can do what, honey? And I love it. I named her Black Betty. And she don't look like much, but she knows how to get the job done, don't she, Mama? She's a house, Mama said. And she is. So that being said, the difference is as I've been watching these people build these, and if you're talking about putting a camping unit, a truck camping unit in the back of your camper, of your pickup truck bed, they all have a floor in them, and they make a box that's inside the wheel wells. Well, in between our wheel wells is 50 inches. Well, there's another 1.5 feet on either side of that. That makes no sense to me. The only reason you would do that is if you need to set that box out so that you can utilize your truck. Well, we're not doing that. I'm going to build it right up on the top so I can use that whole maximum space, because we need floor space and we need recliners in there, where we can rest. And we need a different situation because of my disabilities and the things that we have. So we're going to do it that way. So we're doing more of a pickup shell, and a topper don't work for us because we got to be able to stand up. I can't crawl anywhere. Yeah. So we're doing a pickup truck house, a tiny house on the back of a pickup truck. And so we've been doing that, and I've been looking at it. So that's going to be our next adventure. And that allows us to go and do and get back into places that we can get to. And then we have home base. Plus, I can do it a whole lot cheaper than I can if I have to purchase one or buy one. Now I'm going to be leaning on some folks that I've met to help me get some folks who can bend and lift and do that I can't do. I'm real good at bossing, real good. Take that right there and cut that like this and do that. And I don't know, it might flip us. This wind is wild. We're going to take a time out to hear from some of those folks that bring you this program. And when we come back, we'll continue into the conversation. I don't know what that was. That was almost looked like a lightning flash. So hang on, youngins. You're listening to Rick's House. We'll be right back. Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road at 800-548-3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your windowsills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554, or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mention that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that,
That's
brother?
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knox Trail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxtrailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Located in the heart of East Tennessee, where they do full service plumbing and repairs. All Clear Plumbing. Wheeler and Daniel, they know how to get the things right in your house. From a broken water pipe to an emergency repair to a water line install, or maybe something that you never thought a plumber could do. Who do you call? You call All Clear Plumbing. Talk to Wills, All Clear Plumbing. your choice for plumbing. 865-443-7752. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777. 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that,
That's
brother?
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open-top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Waking up between you and Mama every Saturday morning. Lord, it must be a big old bed. You're listening to Rick's House. Waking up between you and Mama every Saturday morning. Lord, it must be a big old bed. You're listening to Rick's House.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. Good Saturday morning. Hey, your mama and them. Come on in the house. They don't get your blood pumping. I don't know what will. Talking home improvement, RV improvement. I'm talking to you every Saturday morning. So back to the conversation. Thanks for joining us. And the wind seems to be not calming down at all. I started to say it was calming down, but it ain't calming down a lick. So I don't know what in the world's happening with that. And so, heck, that's just part of it. That's part of living on the road. You got to learn to, what is it Clint Eastwood says, or they say in the Marines, adapt, overcome, and something else. And that's what you got to do if you live on the road. You got to adapt. You got to overcome. You got to anticipate. You got to think about it. And the one thing my bride has taught me, which has been a hard lesson for me to learn, because sometimes I'm thick-headed. I know you don't believe it. I know you don't think it is. I know that you think I'm not, but I am. I'm a thick-headed old rascal. I can't help it. But one of the things she's taught me is don't sweat the petty. I'm not going to tell you the other half of that because you know what it is. You know, you just got to take it as it comes and deal with it, because there is a solution. And when you panic and get frustrated and you do that, that's when you'll make a mistake. And when you're on the road, that can be dangerous. So you really and truly, you need to think about that. Now, I saw something I wanted to talk about today, this past week. And, you know, just because it's on the interweb, folks, don't believe it. I seen Abby Ham saying something about somebody's taking AI and doing pictures of her that are inappropriate and things that she just wouldn't do. And that's terrible. We, at some of the radio stations I've been on, have had DJs and talk show hosts that people take their voice and have them saying things and doing things that's not them. That's really sad. We've had that. I had an AI phone call from my son who passed away in 2016, and they got his voice off of one of his gaming sites and had his voice call me from from University of Tennessee Hospital, like he was calling me from heaven. Now, when somebody will do that, that's a sick, sick, sick person. Now, obviously, I knew that wasn't so, and the terminology, the words that they had, that they used his voice to call me, he never called me in his life. So I knew that, that wasn't Jesus doing something. I knew it was some sick, 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 sick person trying to inflict pain. So don't believe everything you say. But in addition to that, I'll have to say that AI does have some uses, and it does have some purposes, just like this thing with Nancy Guthrie, where they will get this person. And I hope that she's still alive, and I hope they find her healthy and happy. But so it has its uses, but don't believe everything that you see or hear. So now, that being said, I've been watching a lot of people do car camping, especially younger people. And I saw a car camping thing, and I believe it's real, where this young guy, he was trying out his car camping, and he was at a spot, and a truck blocked him in the snow and started beating on his glass. Hey, let us in, let us in, let us in, let us in. And he was using a heater that he was running off of a power supply, a solar generator, basically, power box. And but because of the heat that he was using and he was cooking, he had his window cracked open, and they physically reached in and busted his side window, and glass flew everywhere. And then it showed him at the hospital, and then it showed him the next, and he got out of there. Fortunately, was able to get out of there and get around them and get back to civilization and get to the hospital because he had glass in his eye. So you got to be aware of your situation. You got to be aware of what's around you. Here comes a big old bus. Takes money to run that sucker. Looks like a country music tour bus or something coming in here. That bus is probably $500,000. But you know what? It don't sleep one bit better than this little bus right here. This little travel trailer. So, but if you got it, more power to you. That's good. So be aware of your situation and be aware of where you park, and park where there are other people. That's the thing that I'm going to share with you. Out on the road by yourself, that's now out in the desert, that's something different. The crime rate here is zero. I mean, it's nothing. They don't have crime here. It just don't happen. That don't mean that they can't have it, but you need to be aware of that, and you need to have something to protect yourself. And hence the reason the whole world of non-lethal, and that's the choice that we choose, is non-lethal. Yeah. And we do. We have a border patrol station, and we have an FBI hub here where we're at. And we have a state trooper that lives in our park. And it's mighty nice to look 2 rows over and see that big state trooper SUV with lights and stuff all over it there at night. That makes me happy. And then out in the neighborhood. So, those are kinds of things that you have to look for. But be aware of your surroundings. Hence the reason when we park at a Walmart, if they have one of those security things, those towers where it's up in the air and they have that, if they have one of those, guess where Ricky's parking? He's backing right up against it. And it's filming because I want record. Now, People say, "Oh well, I got something for them. Let them come on in." Well, that's fine. And many states allow carry. You know, they allow you to carry. But on the other side of that, you've got, in addition, you have to think about, some states don't. And if you're traveling through a state, they can search your RV. And if they find a gun in there and you're not allowed to carry a gun in that state, they can take your RV. I don't want nobody taking nothing of mine. So I have non-lethal stuff that will make you have a bad day, bad people. And we have more than one. We're going to be safe. And it's not something, and I have stuff that works when you're 5 feet away, and I have stuff that works when you're 50 yards from me. Because I am old and I am disabled and I ain't fighting no more. But I will shoot you with something that will make you not happy. So don't mess with old men. They don't play. Especially, Amy said she can still fight. She's still mobile.
You shoot him with that, and I'll jump on and start beating him.
My bride said, "You shoot him with that, and then I'll jump on and start beating them." That, Lord have mercy. Good God. Bite him.
Dude, no, I'm not biting them. You never know what you might get.
The fun of the interweb. We get to talk about that. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. We'll throw a cat on you. Poor old Chevy, he'd lick you to death. So, but no, all jokes aside, y'all. Are you monitoring me? Am I still on? So I want you guys to have an awesome Valentine's Day. I appreciate you working with me today through the ins and outs of things we can't control. We may do another show this afternoon. We may do a show tomorrow. I don't know. I may do some talk show. I don't know. We want to try every platform that we can and get out there and do our thing. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day, and I hope you enjoy that. And I do want to talk about, as we're coming toward the end of the program this morning. Amy sent me yesterday. There is a town up the road from us called Valentine. And the town was named, Amy, tell me, you read the story. So tell us a little bit about. So Southern Railroad, Southern Pacific was building railroads in this part of the world, tracks in the 1800s, early 1800s, mid 1800s. And so they were a group of men that came to this place.
They stopped in Valentine on Valentine's Day. And
they stopped in Valentine, but it wasn't named Valentine then. They stopped, right?
There was no name.
There was no name. They stopped in this little town on Valentine's Day.
There's only 100 people.
And there's 100 folks that live there now. And these men named this place Valentine.
That's how it goes.
Valentine, Texas, and that's how it got its name. There was water, so they decided to stay there, if she remembers correctly. And so they named it Valentine. Here's what's neat about this. Now, this is the part of the story that I remember. They have a big festival and things on Valentine's Day. And the postmaster handles thousands of letters that you can send. If you're sending a Valentine to your sweetheart or to your loved one or wherever, you can send it to the postmaster in Valentine, Texas, and they will open that. You can put your envelope inside of the envelope and send it to the postmaster in Valentine, Texas. And then when you do that, they will open it and they put a special stamp on it, right? And then forward it off to your loved one. So it came through Valentine, Texas on Valentine's Day. And I told Amy, I said, I bet that postmaster hates that because they have to do it by hand. They have to physically open it up and put it on there and put the stamp on there and send it on its way. But I thought that was a really neat tradition. Yeah. Yeah, well, Amy said there's only 100 folks that live there, so maybe he does like being busy. I don't know, but you know, it's one of those things, and that's the thing that we find about, you know, where we're at right now. Food trucks are phenomenal. I mean, we've got some of the best food I've ever eaten. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Those of you that saw me and Amy She would let me take her picture that day for some reason. She said, I'm going to take a picture of you. So we were at the Panda Chinese restaurant, and it was absolutely fabulous. It was like, I mean, they had mushrooms in that hot and sour soup. It fed me 4 meals. But when I looked at the picture, I said, you know, I'm losing weight. Yeah. And they bring it in a to-go box to you because they feed you so much that they already got your to-go box there. And then you take it home, and it's one of them real good ones that you can reuse. But the food was fabulous. And in addition to that, we just had a great time there, and it was downtown, and the staff was just, and they made it fresh, and it was wonderful. And it was $8.99 for, you got to pick from about 20 different meals, and you got a spring roll, and you got fried rice or steamed rice. And then the soup was $2.99 for 3 times. I mean, it was phenomenal. And so that was our Valentine's dinner. We did a little bit early, but all that being said, there's so much to find and look and see. I know that one of the towns that we frequent has Sul Ross University, and they have a rodeo coming up because Sul Ross University was the first state college, to recognize college rodeo. And I was watching last night. It was so cool because I always wanted to try that, where you're on a horse and you're running along and you jump off on the steer and twist his head and throw him on the ground and then tie his legs. It was showing the cowboys from Sul Ross, and they had the back of what looked like a horse on a side by side, and then they were jumping off of that onto a steer head on another side by side and twisting it. And it was all simulated so that, you know, they wasn't wearing the cattle out. Really, really cool. So get out, explore, you know, grab your loved one today and tell them you love them. If you got something going on, make it right. If your kids will let you, tell them you love them. You know, because I promise you just don't never know what might not happen. So we're going to let this wind pass. And I thank y'all for listening to me this morning and being with our sponsors. And then we may do something this afternoon. We may do something tomorrow. I've been asked to, Brian's been wanting us to do something on Sundays. We might pull a talk show tomorrow, try that out just to see how that goes. And see how that happens. Hopefully our interweb will be better and I'll have the new phone in. So, God bless you. Thank you for allowing me to do it. I want to thank my sponsors, GFL and Permachink and All Clear Plumbing and Top Septic. I talked with Josh and Heidi last night and had a big time hooping and hollering with them. Good folks. You know, Permachink, Evan, the team, you know, my buddy Paul down at Best One Tire there in Knoxville took care of some friends of ours. So, you know, there's good people out there, and when we find them, we're going to talk about them. If we need to know about them, or if you want to know things, you can always get me during the week at rickshouseradio@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to return that to you. We'll get a new website up here shortly. We're working on that too. So, but you know, we're going to be here every Saturday morning. That's going to happen, and maybe some other days, but I'll post it. And we'll see if the book face will do right. God bless you. We love you. We appreciate you, but my bride is in the kitchen, and I think she's thinking about some breakfast, and that's making me real happy because we done went to the stove. So we'll let y'all know how that goes. Hope you have a fantastic Valentine's Day. God bless you. We'll talk to you later. It's been Rick's House.